but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. 'Twas grace that taught my heart to fear, and grace my fears relieved. How precious did that grace appear the hour I first believed. The Lord has promised good to me. His word, my hope secure. He will my shield and portion be, as long as life endures. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see.
Welcome to the Meta Lifestyle Magazine Show. I'm your host, Karina Felix. Join me each week on this exciting new magazine TV platform as I bring in guests that will discuss everything from spiritual growth, personal awareness, and business success. Join us as we share our journeys and inspire you to live a meaningful life, serve a higher purpose, and make a global impact. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to this fabulous Tuesday afternoon with the Meta Lifestyle Magazine Show, the source for enhancing, impacting, and transforming lifestyles. And as you could see, we were all laughing because the fun part about today's show is that I've decided to invite the millennials. So that age group between 19 and 27, 28. And their journey is so different to what we had to go through back in our days. And I thought it would be interesting to bring in a group of this age and ask them a couple of questions and kind of compare and see how things used to be, how things are, and what they are doing now, especially after COVID. And they're now living a very different lifestyle than we did back in our days. So that's why today I get to introduce to you my son, Sergio Fedeli. Say hi, Sergio.
Hello. How are you today, Mom?
Mom is very, very excited that you came and joined me and support me. You know, sometimes this is all we want, to know that our kids can join us and support us. And, you know, we've been on this journey for a long time. I used to be, or I don't know if I could say used to, but I was a helicopter mom, which they now call a drone mom. But I have tried to step back and give them a space to grow. How is that going?
No, growing, definitely I have been doing. I mean, that's what this age is about. The 20s, it's all about just, you know, making your mistakes even and getting your experience and growing and learning from that. So
Well,
we are going.
Yeah,
It was nice to have you there though, growing up all the time.
it was nice.
24/7.
As if I'm gone, I'm still here.
Yeah, right?
Well, the interesting thing is that's very difficult for us as parents is, you know, we do want the best for our kids. And because of that, sometimes we kind of go a bit too far, and it's very hard to step back and watch them. And sometimes they have to go through hardship. Sometimes they have to go through that moment, whatever that is. You know, this is the age they're falling in love and getting their hearts broken, and you know, friendships that doesn't work anymore. And this is all very new to them, and just for them to navigate it, and how we as parents can be there to support them. So you know, what do you think, what's happening with your friends in this group? I know you have a lot of friends that you have been close to.
Well, today I brought a couple friends. You saw earlier one of my friends being the hype man for the introduction. Very good. Thank you, Dylan. It's very funny, yeah.
was
And he's got his own brand he's starting that we're going to see that in a little bit. And I brought another close friend that we actually were roommates in college together.
Mhm.
And he's got his own brand that we're going to see also very soon.
So the interesting thing is, being the drone mom that I was, gave me an opportunity to be not only with my kids, but I spend a lot of time with the friends, and these friends spend a lot of time in my home. So I know a lot of these kids since middle school because I was also the substitute teacher. So I see them grow up. These kids that were here, they're all
Oh,
up
yeah.
here now, way taller, bigger. But it's fun to see how they've all gone in different directions. And just from his close friends, we have some of them becoming doctors and nurses and entrepreneurs and traveling. And it's just see how diverse that they are. They're so much braver to go out there on their own. And of course, I'm not going to move on without bringing in my co-host, Miss Nadini. Please go ahead and.
Hi everyone. I'm so excited today to have the millennials here joining us, giving us their perspective on what society is expecting of them, what they expect of society, what they expect of the world, what they expect of themselves, how are they growing, how are they adapting. And I think a key point to bring out today is how they see our generation, how we see them, what are the differences, what are the similarities, and how we can support each other and how we can grow together. When the song, when that was just thrown together at the last minute, and I just thought it was just what this generation is about. They're up for anything, They were there supporting the singer, and it was just a delight to see. So thank you, Dylan. So I'm really looking forward to hearing what these young folk have to share with us today.
Okay, so I'm going to let Sergio go ahead because, he knows his people a little better than me. So we were going to start, who should we start with today?
Yeah, let's start with Alex. We got him
We'll
here,
start
right?
with Alex.
Hi guys, my name is Alex.
So tell us what you do, Alex.
So
Zoom in.
I went to the University of Florida and I graduated with my business degree a few years ago. And since then, when I finished school, I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I think people think, oh, business degree, and then it's like, oh, okay, so you're gonna go work for a company. But business is very general. There's different things to do, and I didn't have like a specific thing that I liked. So I just kind of floated around for a little bit. My dad opened up a restaurant right when I got out of school, so I started doing that, and I helped him grow that. And then once that kind of, blossomed into what it is now, and it's going, I moved on, and I started a tutoring company with my brother. So we have a brand. It's called I Fix Grades, and the idea was his. It just came because essentially that's kind of what we do. Whether it's if your child is struggling in a specific subject, we get a lot of it, not because the kid isn't smart or anything like that, but during COVID, it was 2 years where kids were all online.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was in school, like cheating was a big thing, but not the way it is
Especially
now.
online.
Yeah. So sometimes the class is too hard, the teacher isn't great, we got too much stuff going on, right? But now kids have so many websites and so many different things on the internet. And during COVID, a lot of these kids just kind of went through the motions, found answers online. And now that they're back in school, they're a year behind, they're 2 years behind, and their grades reflected that. So for us, we've been able to just kind of help these kids catch up. But a positive thing with COVID was a lot of the programs and stuff that came out during that time, we're virtual friendly. So we've been able to adapt, and we have clients all over the world. We have clients in South Africa, we
Wow.
have clients in Slovenia, California, New York, Tennessee, clients here, local, Palm Beach County and stuff like that. And we have a lot of tools that we're able to use, virtual whiteboards, Skype, Google Meets, Zoom, like that, things like that. And we've been able to help kids, and that's kind of like where we found that we're able to bring value to people, and we're trying to build that brand up. A big thing that kind of has worked for us is because we're younger, we're a little bit closer to the generation of the kids that we work with.
Right.
So it's not like they're working with a teacher and they have to do this, right? It's more like they're working with someone that they get along with, and they're helping them learn and figure stuff out, and just let them get caught back up. Those 2 years, they definitely hurt kids a lot. So
Yeah.
that's just kind of where we're working at and where we're trying to grow.
That's great, because that reminded me back when we were in middle school, and for just the kids that know me from back then, we, as PTO, we created an after-school program for the kids to go and do homework. But what we did is we brought in the high school kids to come and work with the middle school kids, because, like you said, there's that stigma of they're an adult and they don't get it. It's very different because maybe because you're more patient, maybe because you're younger, whatever that is.
You can relate
So,
more.
the what?
You can relate more.
You can
know?
relate more, and you're not as strict, and you probably have more patience too, right?
Yeah, it's a combination of things in reality, because I think so, like, for a kid to be able to come and like tell me, hey, I watched this video on TikTok or Instagram, and they're like, oh, I watched the same video. Then it's like, okay, we're hanging out. But then it's like, hey, man, we got some homework to do. Let's, and then you're having a conversation, and it's more enjoyable for the
Right.
kid to be able to work in that way. And that's kind of where we're focusing now, where we hire tutors. A lot of our tutors are master's graduates. They're going to dental school. They're going to med school, law school, things like that. So they're really smart tutors, but they're also personable. So
Right.
we're focusing on that, because if the kid enjoys working with you, then it's not that difficult to get him to work and
Work.
learn, and that's the goal, is to get him to learn at some point.
I'm curious about your path after you left high school and becoming an entrepreneur yourself. And you said your dad had a restaurant. So, entrepreneurship is obviously in your family. Is that what influenced you, or did you look at society at large? Did you look at the dynamics that were changing in the world and decided for yourself, I need to be an entrepreneur rather than an employee of someone else?
I think since I was a kid, the goal was to work for myself. I think as a child from immigrants and like coming to the U.S., I think that's what the American dream was always sold to me as: coming here, getting an education, and then starting my own business. So the fact that my dad, went out and started a restaurant and gave me the opportunity to learn through that, and I learned a lot of things, because the restaurant opened during COVID. So we had to figure out, the to-go systems. We had to figure out how to do stuff online. I made deals with local businesses for like catering, things like that stayed open. Like nurses and banks were still open during COVID. So that, all those obstacles, I think, helped me be a better entrepreneur. And then now that I have the opportunity to work with my brother, because my brother's the one that started the tutoring company, I'm able to apply the stuff that I learned, as well as just the stuff that, the difficulties that I had during COVID, and just kind of like apply it to the business.
Excellent, excellent.
That's pretty amazing. But I could see entrepreneurship is definitely in your blood, and I totally believe everyone should try to work for themselves and be entrepreneurs, because then you are in control of your life, your income. Whatever happens, you have. I mean, the difficult part is you got to get up and you got to do it. There's no one telling you got to be at work 9 to 5. There's none of that. So you have to get up, you have to do it. But if you're doing something that you already love, then it's like a no-brainer. It's simple and it's easy.
I think for our generation too, being an entrepreneur is like what I don't want to say the trend or the fad, but that's like what we move towards. I think, you know, like for my parents' generation and the generations before us, it was, you know, go to college, get a good job at a good company. And that, I don't know, to me, that was never like something that clicked. It was never like, okay, that's what I want to do, you know? And I think part of it too is because we have so much access to like social media and stuff, we actually know everything that's out there. You know, it's not like we can be happy with just a job. It becomes too monotonous. So as an entrepreneur, you have different problems every single day. You deal with different kinds of stuff every single day. So it's just constant change. And I think that's like a big thing that draws us in.
That is so
Yeah,
true. That is so
definitely.
true. So,
Well, you did go to UF. What do you, and Suncoast, and
right.
so I have to say, what do you think that you missed in education that could help you in the real world?
What do I think? What? Sorry.
That our education misses, that could like help you in the real world.
Especially now that you're doing what you're doing, what do you think that you would have learned if they
Or
had
would have
taught
liked to
you,
learn.
or what they should have taught you
Yeah.
in school?
So I think school, there's a disconnect between what kids need to learn nowadays and what school teaches you. You know, I have a lot of students that are like, well, why am I learning, you know, how to find the area of a square?
The quadratic
And then it's like, well, you know, I try to like be positive about it. I'd be like, well, you might, you know, want to become an architect someday, and that kind of goes to it. But that's the thing is, I think school is meant to just give you options, just to teach you a
Overall.
bunch of stuff that maybe you like it, maybe you don't. It's the only way to know is to learn it.
Correct.
But for me, I wish school would have taught me, because from the beginning, I knew that I wanted to run a business. I knew that I wanted to be an entrepreneur. So I wish school would have offered me more classes where I could have learned that kind of stuff. I do a lot of tutoring in accounting and finance stuff,
Right.
and it's all stuff that I applied to my company. And that's the main way that I'm able to relate it and connect it to the kids is I give them those examples. Like, hey, you know, if you had your own company, right, like you don't have to be the perfect accountant. But if you go out and hire somebody, you want to make sure that their work is right. So you need to know a little bit of accounting.
Right.
And then, you know, just real world examples. And you know, you're able to learn more if you're able to relate it to something
Correct.
that's tangible, you know.
That is so true.
Definitely.
That is so, so true. I'm so glad you said that.
Yeah.
So thank you so much, Alex.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me.
Please hang around. Don't leave too
Yeah,
soon.
and if you know if anybody out there, you know, if any parent or anything has a kid that needs help, you know, feel free to reach out. Our website is ifixgrades.com. Just give us a call, and we can definitely help you guys
Right.
out.
I will definitely,
Thank you,
I will
Alex.
also have it on my website, so you'll be able to go to metalifestylemagazine.com, and I will have one that says giveaway, and all of the information from all of our presenters will be there. So that will be at the end of the show again. So next we have with us, and this is going to be interesting. I hope, are we ready for, is there Nick back there?
No, we got Dylan back
Oh,
there.
we got Dylan back there.
Yeah,
Hold
let's-
on.
Let's take it to Dylan. Hold on.
Hi, Dylan.
Hey guys, how are we doing?
Thank you for coming in today.
Thank you for having me.
I heard you're quite an entrepreneur
I don't know
and
who
very
said that, but
artistic,
yeah.
right?
Yes.
So
very.
tell us what it is that you have with us today.
So right now I have this clothing company that I made a couple months ago. Honestly, it happened because I was with my friend and I looked at him and I was like, I'm bored. Let's start a clothing company. Let's just see what happens. So just put in a lot of work. Just kind of, I had no idea what I was doing going into it. I kind of just like stayed up all night just studying and everything. And I was like, yo, this is so easy. So here it is.
So tell us why you came up with that particular brand.
It just kind of came to me. I had it for a while in my head, and I kind of wanted to do it later in life. And I was like, why wait? So just started it, and it's been doing pretty good. I think it looks pretty nice.
So what kind of products do you have? What kind of designs do
So-
you have?
This is a mannequin. This is not a person. I have a ski mask, pink. We also have them in black. I have a hoodie, a cute little fanny pack that just came in, hats. I have socks, and then also little socks with these cute flowers on them. And that's it right now. Oh, wait. I also have soccer shorts because I play soccer. And what better way to represent yourself with something you love?
Yeah.
No one bought those yet. They will.
Nobody?
Okay, 2 people bought them.
Okay, well,
I
because
like
they
the
didn't know you
soccer
were there,
shorts.
now we do. So
Exactly.
tell us, how are you funding this? Like,
How did you start?
Just myself. Just literally like I shout out to myself. I'm crushing it right now. All the money I'm making from work, I put a little money to the side, and I have that mindset where I'm like, I'm gonna get it back. So what I did first is I bought these stickers, and I was like, I'm gonna sell these for $5. So I sold a couple, and it was kind of like my test run
How
to
many
see if
did
people
you
would
buy?
like them. So I made some money with the stickers, and with the stickers, I bought hats. And with hats, I bought socks, and it was kind of just, you know, funneling its way to the top. And then I put some of my own money in, but for the most part, it's been pretty self-sustainable.
really? That's
Yeah.
excellent. So what about, so you had to find, so there's a process here. You had to find
He
printers.
started small.
You had to do some research to find the clothing, the right
Yeah,
material.
so I got some samples in the beginning, and you kind of just, you know, you see what you like and you don't like. With the samples, they're a little more expensive because you get one or two at a time. So what I would do is people would still like them, but they weren't up to my quality. So let's say I was getting a sample for $40, I would sell it for like $35 still, so it wasn't so expensive to the person, and I was making some money back, but I was just constantly reinvesting my money. Like I haven't really paid for anything like for myself yet. It's just all the money just keeps going back into business.
So what future do you see for this? Are you going to brand it out and as your brand, as your actual business eventually?
Yeah, I'm gonna be worldwide.
Oh, I
Yes,
love that.
sir.
Going global.
Going global.
There you
Let's
go.
go.
So so during the day you have a different job.
So at night, I'm a server from like 5 p.m. to 1 a.m., but it kind of helps because I have all day to myself, and then I have all night. Like I'll go to sleep super late, and I'll wake up early. So during like when I get off work, the second I get home, I'm on like the little iPad and I'm crushing it and everything. And just always doing something how I can like expand the business.
So do you have any support? How's about your parents or
Nah, it's just me.
just you as your friends here supporting you?
I got my friend right there, but he's a little camera shy. And
Oh,
me and Sergio are friends too. We play soccer together
There's
sometimes.
Sergio's wearing your
And
hat.
he's rocking a hat that he paid
Yeah,
full
he's
price for.
rocking your hat.
You
Full
look good in
price,
that hat,
baby.
Sergio.
Full price, he said.
No, we support. It's pretty fresh.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie.
The fun part is that you know they grew up playing soccer as kids in middle school, and they're still playing soccer. He goes out all the time, and I think it's so cool that they're still, you know, doing sports.
You gotta stay active.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a passion of ours too.
Yeah. I'm just so much better than Sergio at soccer though.
Ah!
That's why I get picked first, huh?
You can have all of this information at your fingertips on the internet, which is not something that my generation had when we were growing up.
Yeah.
And I just love how, you know, that has influenced your attitude to life, that you have this information and you're just not letting it pass by.
Yeah.
You're thinking, I'm going to use this and I'm going to make myself a better person using this information. I'm going to make the world a better place
Exactly.
using this information.
Yeah, because I feel like you just gotta be open-minded with stuff. Because even if this is working for right now, maybe 5 years in the future it wouldn't be working. So you just gotta be adaptive. And like the internet and stuff like that makes it so easy to keep in touch with it. I feel like once you kind of get out of touch, it's harder to keep up. But when you're in the circle, you're in the circle.
So-
Sorry.
Go ahead.
I would say one thing too that's like interesting is I feel like the internet has gotten such a bad rap and technology has, but nobody talks about like the positive things, because like being able to start a brand and market to millions of people with a low budget is something new. It's something
Right.
that our generation is able to
Exactly.
do now, and it wasn't a thing before. But nobody talks about that. Everyone's like, oh, Instagram's horrible,
No.
you know. But there are, you know, it's just how the user kind of decides to
If
use
you
it.
use it for business purposes and you really put it out there, because that's what you know, this is the conversation we're having, Nandini, about what's the difference between marketing and promotion. Marketing is figuring out what you want to do. What he did is his marketing. He did his research, you know, material, all of that. That's the marketing. Now he needs to get in your face.
Yeah,
And where do
exactly.
you do that? You gotta
That's
do
what
that,
I'm doing. I'll
right?
be wearing some of my
Social
socks.
media is the
I'll go up
best
to
way.
random people and be like, hey, you like these socks? And I'm like, oh my God, they're so cool. I was like, I made them. So, want to buy them? Or even like to the gym. So I have shirts coming in. I'm about to do a photo shoot. So there are these people like just crushing it in the gym, like sweating, going as hard as they can. And I'll just lift up the weight and I'm like, yo, I have a photo shoot to do. You guys want to be a part of it? So just kind of like being not afraid to talk to people and kind of breaking that barrier. They're more, okay, cool. And I feel like when you go up to them and they're in the beginning stages of it, they kind of feel like them themselves are part of a brand, which they're not, it's just me. But they
Let
feel
'em know.
more supportive, and they want to share it on their stories, and they want to tell their friends about it too.
Right, but that's brand loyalty. That's
Yeah.
something that like is taught, as like a concept, as a theory is if you're loyal to a brand, you could get a product that's bad. One of your socks could come out bad.
Yeah.
If people are like love your brand, they're like whatever. The next one is good, and like that kind of stuff helps out.
Mhm.
And I don't know if you like agree, but I feel like that should be something that schools start to incorporate is like
Thank you.
business and marketing and stuff like that through social media and the
Yeah.
internet, because we don't learn any of that kind of stuff in school.
Exactly.
Well, the education system hasn't kept up
Yeah.
with how trends are changing. And I just love how, you recognize that you have that access to the world.
Yeah.
And it doesn't phase you.
Mm-mm.
You use it as something to grow. That's just so wonderful.
Yeah, you just gotta believe in yourself. And the only thing is, you have to be able to sacrifice stuff for it. Like yesterday, it was late night. My friends wanted to start this new anime. I want to watch it, but while they're watching it, I'm just like on it, and I'm like 50% in that, but I'm 100% in my business. So it's just always being able to do it. You're still doing your life, and you're still going through the motions of life, but at the end, like, this is what matters to you the most. And knowing that you're gonna succeed, that's the biggest part. Like, there's no doubt in my mind. You get what I'm saying? So
Yep,
that's really
yep.
it.
All right, so we're going to take a little break right now. We're going to take a little commercial break, and we'll be right back. See you soon. Hi, I'm Karina Felix. Publisher
That
and
is
editor of
excellent.
Meta
Don't go too far.
Lifestyle Magazine, the source for enhancing and transforming lifestyles. And today, I have a special offer just for you. Go to my website, metalifestylemagazine.com/subscription, and get your free edition today. You've been watching the Meta Lifestyle Magazine show with your host, Karina Felix. If you would like to connect with me, go to metalifestylemagazine.com/connect. And we're back. So we're doing a little shifting around. Alex had to leave. So thank you, Alex. Mwah.
Thank you, Alex.
And we had someone else. The light is in my face. I can't even see who's sitting over here anymore. Who do we have, Sergio?
Oh no, we're right here. We're gonna take it right here.
Again, you got to remind me. How does it go?
Krishna.
Trisna. We have Trisna with us. And today is her first day working at the Brooklyn Cafe Show, correct? And she can't believe it because she's already in a show. So tell us, how did you get it? Where school did you go to? What are you studying? And what does this help you with your career?
So I'm actually originally from Arizona. I moved out here about 2 years ago. I went to ASU. I studied psychology with a dance minor. I ended up having to drop out, financial and personal issues. But then eventually,
Lift the mic, please.
Eventually, I made my way up here to Florida, and I actually work at Houston's as a server right now. And I met another gentleman who also has a show here, and he introduced me to the producers here. And I came in for an interview, and they said, "Let's do it."
Here you are. And it's fun already, right?
It's been a hectic day, but it's been a hoot.
Okay. So do you have both jobs, or is this part-time?
No, I still have both jobs. Like they said, today's my first day, but this is just an internship that I'm doing for now, just to advance my path in the career that I want to choose or go on. But I do serve on the side as of right now.
So what's that career path you're thinking of?
Well, I would love to be in the industry. What I really do want to do is model. But I'm very open to anything. I also, like I said, I'm a dancer, so dance is a huge, huge passion of mine. And that would be something that I would love to do for the rest of my life.
I was a dancer, and I did 2 shows every night and loved every second of it. And then I became a dance teacher and had my own dance studio, and I made him take ballet classes.
Tap classes also.
And tap classes and
Not
jazz.
just ballet.
He was very
Okay.
happy, but at one point he was the only boy in the ballet class because we had all girls, and he's the only boy, and he was not happy. But guess what? Then he went to college, and they had an audition, and he auditioned, which shocked me. But he auditioned,
did, yeah.
and he got chosen because he had the basic. He was like, I know the pliés and tendus. It's like, you see, it sinks in. So they have some basic dance.
Oh,
but
yeah.
Yeah.
It definitely helped me in life. Like, just like flexibility, though. Like, going to the gym or, like, playing soccer. Like, even... I know I'm not going to say I'm old, but I'm getting older. And I'm already... A lot of my friends are not as flexible as, they used to be as kids. So I think definitely helped me in life in general.
No, absolutely. And I mean, like with the flexibility, they say dancing, especially ballet, helps with like sports, which is why they say like football players should do it and everything. So
No,
I'm sure that
helped
definitely advanced you in your sport.
in my soccer, yeah, for sure.
Even though Dylan says you're not as good as him, but
No. You can see who gets picked first.
One topic that I'd really like to explore with you guys is, you're at that age now where you're finding your feet in the world, figuring out exactly what it is you want to do. But how far into the future are you thinking financially? Like when you make decisions now, are you thinking about where am I going to be in 20, 30 years? Am I going to be financially stable? Do you have the opportunity or even the drive to be thinking along those lines right now? Or are you still just trying to figure out exactly what it is you want to do?
yeah, no, absolutely. So for me, I am actually still figuring out exactly what I want to do. And I think that finding a career that you want to stick with for the rest of your life is a really hard thing to do. And like for your guys' generation, I know that that's something that was instilled in you is to like, you were supposed to go to school, you're supposed to go to college, get your degree, and then you have your career that you were set for. And even though that is something that still people do today, with this millennial generation, like it is a lot harder because we do want to do so many things. We know that we are capable of more than just that one thing. And we want to be successful in all of those areas because if that's what works for you, you want to be happy and fulfill each one of those areas that you're trying to fulfill, So personally, like, no, I'm not thinking about 20, 30 years in the future, and it's something I should be doing. I obviously want to be financially stable, but that's also worrying about being financially stable right now, and like with the pandemic and like this inflation and everything going up, the job that I had before serving, I was not financially stable especially with the big moving from state to state. I almost didn't make it. I had like support here that definitely helped, but I never wanted to serve. It was not something I ever wanted to do, but I had to put myself out there, and it's definitely put me in a better position than I had been for the last 2 years. So I am very grateful for that.
I think the challenges that you guys have had to go through with the pandemic and everything, my generation, we never experienced anything like that. That was so life-changing, and you're using it to your benefit. You're learning from it, and you're making the changes that are necessary. I don't know if anybody...
I want to hear what you guys have to say about the same topic, about being financially, are you thinking that far ahead, or right now you're just thinking we got to survive and make it work now?
Okay. What was it again? I'm sorry. Being
Go ahead,
financially
Nandini, ask the
stable?
question.
Yeah, are you thinking 20, 30 years ahead? I know you've got a very good brain on, a very good head on your shoulders, and you're thinking about making this enterprise as successful as you can be.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on where you are in 20, 30 years down the line financially? Because in my generation, we were not taught this. As Trishna was just saying, we were conditioned to believe that you study, you get a job, and then you retire,
Yeah.
and that's it. That paradigm has shifted so much for you guys. And I'm just thinking, my questions are you making investments? How do you choose what investments you make? Are you speaking to your parents about this? Or who are you speaking to? What are your reference points?
It's just a lot about, like, you just got to read on stuff. So I don't know if you guys know what Dogecoin is, but I saw it, and I just thought it was funny. So with stocks and crypto and everything, you can get them super cheap. And if you follow Reddit, there's, like, these, like, Reddit articles, and you could just read them. So it was at, like, 0.02, like, not even a penny yet. So I was like, what's $400? So I just threw it in. I took a chance. and then it was like at 65 cents, and I'm like, this is
Right.
so easy. So it's just at the end, I feel like as long, obviously I like invest, like I want to buy houses and stuff, but there's other ways that they don't tell you how you can get houses and everything. Like you could, no, I can't say any financial advice here, but you can you could just invest in certain things, and if you buy like a house, like a bigger house with a little bedroom in the back, and you live in that bedroom and you rent the house out, that's another way to, like, you can make rent for free. So it's just certain things like that, just being aware of everything and kind of like looking at certain things. That's where I kind of feel like the internet might help a lot in that, because there's certain things where you wouldn't have, you know, the ability to research that we can, and also it's just what you use it for. So people will be like, oh, TikTok's super bad or Instagram's super bad. It depends on what you follow. So there's a lot of investment stuff that I follow, and it's just, I don't know, it works out for the most part. You just have to keep on, like what I said earlier, you have to keep reading because things change every day.
So you're making a very good point about how my generation can learn from you guys,
Mhm.
because, you know, for a lot of us, social media is intimidating.
Mm-hmm.
And as you say, you know, it gets a very bad rap, you know, but you make a very good point. It's how you use it.
Yeah.
So I'm saying you have something to teach us.
Mm-hmm.
What else do you think that our generation can learn from you?
That's because I feel like we can always learn from other people as well. It's just not a certain generation, it's a person. Because you could teach me something that someone younger than me can't teach me, and I could teach you something that someone older than you can't teach me either. I think it depends more on the person and just being more open-minded in what you see. So like people see generation as a whole, but not just as like one individual. You get what I'm saying? Because like I told someone once, because they were talking about school, and they were really big on school, and I'm going to college, and I'm kind of like, that was never my plan. But I said I feel like 8 out of 10 times at least, I would get the job over someone like that, just because how I am in interviews, and I feel like that matters a little more. And of course, if you want to be a doctor or you want to go to school to study medicine and stuff, you could definitely be that. But I have a friend who went to college for a day. He said, nah, this isn't it. And then he did real estate, and he learned himself, just betting on himself. And there's months that he looks at me and he goes, bro, I made what a doctor makes in a year and a month. So it's just certain things like that, and not letting money kind of run your life. If you
Nice.
believe, if you have no like care about money and you're like, you don't worry about it, obviously you have bills to pay and it's going to be in your subconscious. But if you genuinely believe at the end of the day I'm going to be fine, it'll come to you. That's not legal advice, don't take that advice. But it's just,
No, that's
I truly, like,
manifestation.
believe that.
That's
There's times where I was like,
manifestation.
yeah. So it's just
Serge just said it.
just betting on yourself 100% of the time.
Just to continue on that, I think just having motivation is like a huge factor in that, because a lot of our generation today, it's like a 50-50 thing where they're unmotivated, and then like for Dylan, he's extremely motivated.
Very motivated.
You know, and like I think that you've gone far because you do believe in yourself and you do motivate yourself, and that discipline that you have on yourself, versus me. I'm honestly struggled. I'm probably older than you. And
Nah, I'm old.
how old are you?
I'm 29.
Okay, I'm 26.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're older. But just like I have been unmotivated in my life, and like I haven't always had that support, so I have been alone for a lot of that, you know?
But with that, I'm pretty sure it's Einstein. He said, if you judge a fish on its ability to climb a tree, it'll think like it's stupid for its whole life. So it's
No.
just, if I'm going to say you're unmotivated for stuff that you want to do, and I kind of looked at school and I'm like, I don't really want to do that. But I was able to like focus all that energy into something I love, and it just comes natural,
Yeah.
then I'm going to appear more like motivated. You know what I'm saying?
For
Like
sure.
it's kind of like if I told Sergio, hey, you got to
Facts.
work a grill for 5 hours, or we're going to play soccer for 5 hours. He's going to be like, either way, Dylan's going to sauce me up. But
Okay.
you're going to be more motivated to play soccer and do something you love. So I think at the end of the day, just find what you love and then just go with it. You get what I'm saying?
No,
I don't
yeah.
got to be 100 years old to have to tell
So
someone
I
that.
wanted, what I wanted to say is, because in our house growing up, his dad was very into money, investing, you know, accumulating funds, and the whole, you know, financial freedom. And I think he even got you guys investing, and even since they were kids, I started a bank account for them. They always had a bank account. We always had money. They always knew there was a way of getting money. But later on, Dad actually helped them set up with investments and sit there and teach them and watch the stock market and this and that. And so what do you say about that? You think that's a good lesson? because
Yeah,
it's coming
no,
from
he
home?
definitely taught me a lesson, me and my sister. Lessons that a lot of kids don't get. You know, I have friends that are 25 just getting their first credit cards when he opened one for me. I don't even think I turned 18 yet. I think honestly, we lied about the age. I got it before I turned 18. So like just building credit since like I was young, like since I was able to. And then the
And
investing
he
and stuff.
explains it. He goes,
yeah.
you just spend a little bit and you pay it off, and you spend a little bit and you pay it off, and that's how you start building credit.
yeah.
But no one tells this. The kids get a credit card and they overspend, and then they're in debt for the rest of the.
Well, because nobody taught them, and then
Because
they,
no one
yeah,
taught them how to
exactly.
build. So it's amazing because believe me, credit cards come to the house every day. And he's like, no, because the more credit cards mean the more value. That means your credit score. People don't
Right.
understand
Yeah,
every
you
time.
don't- you
So
don't wanna have a
because
lot
he
of
had the
credit
lesson, he'd be
cards.
like, throw it
Right,
out.
that's all trash.
Just this is it. This is what I work with. I spend, I pay, and he has amazing credit scores at this age, which is very few adults could say that.
And
Right?
I think
Yeah.
that circles back around to when we were talking about with Alex about just, oh my gosh, I lost my train of thought there. Ooh, just like what we learn in like school, and like what they don't teach us in school, and what we need in the real world. Like they definitely should have taught us like taxes and like credit and like
Of
like
course,
entrepreneur
definitely.
stuff, and
Yeah.
like having that in high school and not just in college, because like I shouldn't have to go to college when I probably have already had a job my senior year of high school, and I have to pay taxes, and now I don't even know how to fill that form. You
Right.
know what I mean? And especially as entrepreneurs,
Definitely.
that's a whole different tax bracket. So
Oh,
it's like you're
crazy.
on a whole different even like spectrum. You know what I
Right.
mean? And that's like, why aren't we teaching kids
Well,
this?
what I definitely want to share here is I grew up in Aruba. And Aruba is the European Dutch system. And we learned all of that. We did accounting, bookkeeping, taxes, mortgage, amortization, all of that. And that was in like high school, like junior high. And then I came to college in the US and I thought, what are you guys teaching me? I already did this in high school. Why are you guys so behind? And then when I brought them to the US to come to school here, and I left, they grew up in Turks and Caicos Islands, which is again British, very different schooling system again. Then we come here and I'm like, you're not teaching them nothing. They're spending hours. I'm like, "Oh, don't get me started with the school
definitely.
system
At
here.
least in like math wise, I was doing like 6th grade here, like 3rd grade over there. Definitely.
Yes, it's just amazing how different it is.
But
I want to give 2 seconds. I want to give a chance for Arthur because Arthur, I'm sorry, I'm throwing you in under the roof right now. And because you wrote a book based on, and you were talking earlier in the show earlier about how kids, you know what, go ahead because I kind of came in at the end, but tell us about the book and how you're trying to reach this generation as well.
Well, first of all, I am an entrepreneur, and I have been most of my life. Although I've worked for companies and I've been at the CEO level of companies as well, but I like entrepreneurship. I like where you're going with that, and I think you have a great head on your shoulders.
Thank you, Joe.
But especially the motivation part. But one of the things that I struggled with growing up was attitude and relationships. And I realize we're talking about business. I can talk about business all day, but I want to switch subjects just for a minute because my books that I write about now are about relationships. And relationships are not just important. You might think of your relationship with your significant other, right? Something like that. But your relationships with everybody counts. Your relationship with your friends and your family and your coworkers and everything. All of those relationships count 100%. So I like to talk about how are you treating them? And how are you treating yourself? Because what I talk about is an inside job. It's not anything that comes from outside of you. It's always inside job. How do you feel about yourself? Do you care about yourself? Do you love yourself? Are you kind to yourself? I also talk about being kind to other people. But it's a two-way street, right? you be kind to yourself and you're kind to other people, kindness comes back to you. If you love yourself and you love other people, love comes back to you. If you're compassionate with other people and you're compassionate with yourself, all of these things, it's a two-way street all the time with all the virtues. So I don't want anybody to lose themselves just in business, because there's another part of your life that will contribute to your having great business through great relationships.
I like that you brought it up,
Definitely.
Arthur, because like I said, watching my own kids going through, one minute they have this friend, and then all of a sudden that friendship doesn't work out, and and there's this, and this is that age where they're finding themselves, and then that's also where friendship, they either last or they don't last. It falls apart, and what is that makes you decide, what we haven't heard like this, so what is it for you guys and the relationship, and what's important for you in relationship at this point?
I mean, relationships in general are important, no matter whether that's a partnership, a friendship, or your family. For me, it's really hard. That's a really hard question for me, actually. I don't really talk to my family. We don't really have a relationship, and it was because I had to make a stand for myself. I was not, getting what I deserved, reciprocation, like that matters. It's definitely a two-way street, like Arthur said. Like, you have, like, as much as you put out, not everyone's going to be able to give back to you, and you have to be able to stand up for yourself and be like, I'm enough, and I deserve more. And you're not reciprocating the love or care and respect that I'm giving to you, regardless that you're my parent. You're a parent. You should be giving that to your child, and they, if that's just the case. And even friendships, like sometimes you put in a lot of effort in your friendship, and your friend's just like, oh, I'm just gonna vent to you when it's right for me. Like, I'm sorry, I don't have time for you, but do you have time for me? It's like, well, if you don't have the time for me, why would I make the time for you? And that's about also loving yourself and like taking that stand and having that respect for yourself.
So glad you said that.
Yeah,
may
before
I
the
add
show, we were
yeah.
talking about boundaries, and how your generation, you're able to set those boundaries without even thinking about it, whereas we were conditioned to think completely differently, that
Actually, we were meant to be seen and not heard.
Yeah,
we had to shut up.
and we
So-
need to be available for everyone.
Correct.
If you were not available for everyone, you were being rude, you were being selfish. It's just so wonderful that you are so empowered to understand that in having your boundaries, you are not selfish. You are practicing self-love.
Yeah.
And in practicing that self-love, you're then able to express love to others in your life. And that comes back to Arthur's points about
I just want to
having-
add something to that, because this is a very sticky part of life, I'll call it. You mentioned that, if you don't have time for me, I don't have time for you. I'm going to push back on that a little bit, because this is the part where, yes, you want to protect yourself, and you want to be whole in yourself, and you want to love yourself, especially with family, actually with everybody. You can still be kind.
No, absolutely.
You don't have, you can walk away from that relationship in a sense, right? You can distance yourself from the relationship, but always remember that, first of all, I say that your foundation needs to be one of love. If you're building a house, that foundation is love.
Absolutely.
And from that comes kindness. And then after kindness comes all the other virtues that go with it. So I just want people to be cognizant of the fact that, yes, you want to protect yourself and you want to be cared for, but if somebody doesn't do that, you can just distance yourself but still be kind to them. You don't have to do to them what they're doing to you.
No,
That's all I'm
absolutely.
saying.
No, and I definitely agree with the whole foundation of love and kindness. And it's not that I don't have like love, care, respect for my family, but at some point, because I do love myself enough, I have to love them from a distance. It's
Yes.
not like that I don't love
Yeah.
them. I'm just like,
I'm sorry, I
Just
wasn't
protect
accusing
your
you of doing that.
Yeah,
I was just
exactly.
making
You
a
have to
point.
protect your energy.
no, yeah, and I'm just
That's all.
agreeing and saying more on that.
And you know
as
what,
well.
just so you know, I've been through the same thing. He left the house at one point. My daughter left the house at one point. We didn't talk for a while at one point. And my job was just to be patient and be supportive. And whenever they're ready to come back, I was there. That's, I said to them, once to reach a certain age, I did my job. I gave you your clothing, your education, your housing, food, everything. Now I hope I gave you enough foundation to go on and make the right decisions in life. And that's my job moving forward. Now I'm just a support system. I'm not here now to control and tell them what to do anymore.
Yeah, and I think that a lot of parents, especially in like parents that are around like my age now, or like only a few years older than me, like don't, like they hold that over their kid. It's like, I didn't ask for you to bring me into this world, but you hold, oh, I gave you a roof, I gave you food
Yes.
and
Bro, my mom
clothes
says that
all the time, right?
Oh.
And it's like, why
Oh,
are
really?
you putting me
Yeah, she's
down?
like,
Like,
I brought you into this world. I was like, I didn't ask.
right? I
No.
didn't.
Decision to be
This is
made.
your
I
choice.
didn't ask
Wow.
for this, you know? Like, you wanted me, you chose to be a parent.
Correct.
You have to provide. You have to, like, play that parent role
And then we need to
and-
release you and let you go.
and not make us feel bad for being your kid.
and support.
You know? Like,
Yeah.
I don't feel bad.
Yeah,
I
you don't
love
want to live like that.
Dope. But not. With saying that too, what you guys are kind of talking on, I feel like at first, and also what I'm looking for in people is you have to love yourself first. You gotta be number one by like a little distance. Like, I gotta like love you, and then like whoever's next, you know. So, people who love themselves, I feel like you just naturally like bind to, and you just naturally like connect to like that.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? And I feel like once you have friendships like that, if you're having a bad day, that's okay. I understand. Or like those friends that you don't have to talk to forever, but then you can still talk to and like still be like besties with them.
Yeah.
That's cool too. So it's just like, at the end of the day, while you're putting yourself first, all like that stupid stuff that happens in friendship, because it's a relationship. Like obviously, like that happens. It just, you're on your own path. You're focused on what you're doing. That doesn't matter as much. And like since you're like, if you treat people like how you like genuinely want to be treated, and you're just nice and everything, it just, that energy is what you attract. So that energy like comes around you. Like the other day, I looked at my friend and I was like, yo, I want to get some bole, but I ain't gonna pay for it. I'm not gonna steal it. I ain't a thief. But I was like, I just feel like I'm not gonna pay for it today. And then I went, and then the guy there knew me, the manager, so he paid for it and he gave me 6 free cards. So I handed out all of them, but I kept one. So I went yesterday to use my another free card. And then I swear, the other register guy was like, I'm gonna give you another free card. So I was like, this is unlimited bole. I cheated the system. I saw this guy and he was outside and he was so hungry. And I didn't have like my wallet because I had the card. I was like, bro, just take it.
Yeah.
So like that energy, you just kind of like put it out and then it comes back.
that's the law
Wow,
of
you're
attraction,
very
baby.
connected.
Me personally,
Attraction.
my motto is like, yeah, I agree with that, Mom. Just like be kind to people, whoever you meet. No, you're never gonna know.
Yeah. And don't be afraid to say no to certain stuff. Like even if
Thank
it's like hanging
you.
out with your best friends. If like you're doing something and like when I was learning how to like make the clothing, my friend came up and he wanted to hang out with a couple of people and I was like, no. Like I have to do this. But it's not because I don't like you, it's because I have to do stuff for myself.
Well, my girlfriend says no is a full sentence. And on that note, we're coming to the end of the show. I hope you guys enjoyed to know what's happening with this age group and I'm actually very excited to hear what came out today and to see how level-headed you guys are and how like committed, and they're going. I mean, they got businesses, they got money invested. She's on her path and taking control of her life. And, I appreciate all of you. And what you guys are not seeing is the crew that's working on the backside, the ones that's in the computer room, the guys back here behind the cameras. They're doing such an amazing job. I mean, I've been here, this is our 4th show now, right, Nandini? And like anything, I can turn to them with anything, and they are amazing. So thank you guys so much, and thank you to my guests today. Love you guys so much, and I hope to see you again at our next Millennium Show, which is the last Tuesday of the month. And for all the other friends that didn't make it today, hope to see you then.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys. Are you a member of the Meta Lifestyle Club? Become a member and get access to all the perks we offer at metalifestylemagazine.com/club to get started. Thanks for watching the Meta Lifestyle Magazine show. And don't forget to subscribe to the magazine and tune in every week to get inspired and create your lifestyle by design.